Whispers of Secret Tales.
The first frog jumped out of Adaeze's mouth at exactly 2:17 a.m. It landed on the cold mud floor of her room, blinking, alive. Adaeze screamed. Her mother bolted upright from sleep. Her father rushed in with a lantern. And there, in the dim orange light, they all watched in horror as Adaeze bent forward and coughed again. Quack! Another frog spilled out. Her mother was in shock. "Oh no," she whispered. "Adaeze, what have you done?" Adaeze was 20 years old, stubborn, sharp-tongued, and proud. She lived in Umuoma, a small village wrapped by thick forests and ancient traditions. There was one rule every child knew from birth: never go near the village stream on Tuesday nights. Not to fetch water, not to wash clothes, not even to pass by. The elders said the stream belonged to spirits called the coughing frogs, creatures that were once guardians but turned vengeful when disrespected. They said anyone who went there on Tuesday night would return cursed. Adaeze laughed at the story. Adaeze first heard the story by accident. She had stepped out to buy palm oil when she passed the village square. Two elderly men sat beneath the old udala tree, their voices low but urgent. "I'm telling you," one of them whispered, glancing around nervously. "That boy didn't just disappear. He went to the stream that Tuesday night." The other man shook his head slowly. After all these years, you still want to talk about it?" "How can I not?" the first replied. "Young, strong boy. Entered the forest at night and never returned. Only his slippers were found by the stream the next morning." Adaeze slowed her steps, her heart thumping. "They said he had coughing sounds before he vanished," the man added, lowering his voice further. "Frogs coughing, like sick people." "Chai," the second man muttered. "That matter should rest. Talking about it invites trouble." Adaeze swallowed hard. She waited until they stood up and walked away before exhaling. For a moment, a chill crawled up her spine, but just as quickly, she brushed it aside. Old stories, she told herself. Fear stories. Later that afternoon, Adaeze went with her close friend Ini to fetch water from the stream. On a normal, permitted day, when the sun was still high and birds sang freely. The stream looked harmless. Clear water shimmered over smooth stones. Children laughed nearby. As they filled their buckets, Adaeze spoke. "Ini," she said casually, "do you know that people say a young man once came here at night and never returned?" Ini froze, her calabash halfway submerged. "What?" she whispered sharply. "Why would you say that here?" Adaeze shrugged. "I overheard two men talking. They said he went on a Tuesday night, just like that, gone." Ini's eyes darted around the forest edge. "Please don't joke with such things," she said, her voice trembling. "My aunt told me the same story when I was small. That is why they warned us never to come here at night." Adaeze laughed softly, trying to hide the unease creeping into her own chest. "You see, that's exactly what I mean. Stories pass from mouth to mouth until everyone is afraid of shadows." Ini tightened her grip on the calabash. "Fear keeps us alive sometimes," she said. "Not everything needs to be tested." Adaeze scoffed. "Fear is what controls this village," she replied. "If spirits truly existed, would they still be hiding in water like frogs?" Ini shook her head firmly. "Don't joke with that taboo, Adaeze. Please. My grandmother said it's real." Adaeze rolled her eyes. "You people still believe everything you are told." Then, without thinking, the boast slipped from her mouth. "One day, I'll go there myself, on a Tuesday night, and when nothing happens, you'll all see it's a lie." The laughter died in her throat. The wind stirred suddenly, rustling the leaves along the river bank. The water rippled, though nothing had touched it. Amy turned pale. "Don't say things like that," she whispered. "Words have ears." But Adaeze only smiled, though for the first time it didn't reach her eyes. Somewhere deep in the forest, a frog coughed. Once. Then silence. Tuesday night came quietly. Crickets chirped. Palm trees whispered. The moon hung low and swollen. Adaeze lay awake on her mat, heart racing, not with fear, but excitement. Tonight, I'll prove them wrong. When her parents' breathing deepened into sleep, she slipped out of the house barefoot, carrying only a small torch. The path to the stream was darker than she expected. The closer she got, the quieter the forest became. No insects, no wind, no birds, only the sound of water, slow, thick, breathing. She stopped at the edge. "This is what they are afraid of," she whispered, laughing nervously. She stepped closer. That was when she heard it. Krr, krr. Not croaking, coughing, low, wet, repeated. Her smile faded. She shone her torch across the stream. The water rippled, not from movement, but as if something underneath was breathing. Then she felt it, a presence. Slowly, Adaeze turned. It stood where the forest should have been, tall, bent. Its skin glistened like wet leaves. Its eyes bulged, unblinking. Its mouth opened, and from it came a sound that made her blood freeze. Krr, krr. The coughing of frogs, dozens of them, coming from one throat. Adaeze screamed. She ran. Branches whipped her skin. Roots chipped her feet. The forest that once welcomed her now chased her. Behind her, krr, krr, closer. She burst into her compound, slammed the door shut, and collapsed on the floor, gasping. For a moment, she thought she was safe. Then her chest tightened. Her throat burned. She coughed, and something cold pushed upward. By morning, Adaeze could barely speak. Every few minutes, she doubled over, coughing violently, until small frogs spilled out, hopping across the floor. Some were green, some were brown, some had glowing eyes. News spread through Umuoma like Hamatan fire. By midday, everyone had heard. Adaeze is coughing frogs. She went to the stream on Tuesday night. The taboo has claimed another one. People abandoned their chores and drifted toward Adaeze's family compound, not out of kindness alone, but curiosity and fear. Some came whispering prayers under their breath. Others came simply to see with their own eyes. They didn't ask questions. They already knew. "She broke the taboo," one man said grimly, folding his arms. "The spirits have marked her." Adaeze was kept in the back room of the house, away from the crowd. The door remained shut, but villagers still crept closer, peering through the narrow window, holding their breath. Inside, Adaeze lay on a raffia mat, her body weak and trembling. Suddenly, her chest tightened. She bent forward violently. Crack! A frog tumbled onto the floor. A collective gasp rose from outside. "Chai! It is true," a woman whispered, clutching her wrapper. "May we not see this in our children." Adaeze sobbed uncontrollably. "I didn't know," she cried hoarsely. "I didn't believe. I was only curious." The oldest woman in the village, Mama Orenwa, stood quietly at the doorway, leaning on her staff. Her eyes were heavy with wisdom and sorrow. "The spirits do not punish curiosity," she said slowly. "They punish disrespect." Another cough seized Adaeze. Her stomach churned painfully. At night, the frogs croaked inside her, restless, angry sounds that echoed in her chest. She pressed her hands to her mouth, shaking. No medicine worked. No prayer stopped it. By the third night, Adaeze could no longer sleep. That was when the frogs began to speak. Among the crowd that day stood Ini, her eyes swollen from crying. She had known Adaeze since childhood. Seeing her like this tore at her heart. I need to see her, Ini whispered to her mother. She's my friend. Her mother grabbed her wrist sharply. No, she said firmly. You will not go near that house. But Mama, listen to me, her mother interrupted, fear thick in her voice. That curse is not something to joke with. What if it passes from person to person? I want no part of it near my daughter. Ini's eyes filled with tears. You should take this as a lesson, her mother continued. Respect taboos, even when you don't understand them. Adaeze didn't listen, and now see. Ini nodded slowly, guilt settling heavy in her chest. That afternoon, Ini walked alone to the stream. The sun was bright, birds sang, everything looked normal, but she felt a weight pressing on her heart. She knelt by the water's edge and sobbed quietly. I warned her, she whispered. I told her not to go. The stream rippled gently. I wish she had listened, Ini said, wiping her tears. I wish I had stopped her. The forest remained silent. Then, faintly, Ini stiffened. She rose quickly, fear gripping her, and hurried back home, her heart pounding, her respect for the old warnings deeper than ever. The elders were summoned immediately. They didn't ask questions. They already knew. She broke the taboo, one said grimly. The spirits have marked her. By the fourth night, Adaeze's coughing had become unbearable. Frogs no longer fell from her mouth alone. Sometimes she felt them move inside her, scraping gently against her chest as if searching for something lost. She cried out in pain, Mama, please, I'm dying. That was when her mother broke down. She sat beside Adaeze's mat, her eyes swollen from years of buried grief. There is something we never told you, she whispered. Adaeze looked at her, fear and confusion battling in her eyes. Before you were born, you had an elder brother. Adaeze froze. What brother? Her father turned away, his shoulders shaking. His name was Chukudi, her mother continued. You were only a baby then. One Tuesday night, against our warnings, he followed his friend to the stream. Her voice cracked. They never returned. Adaeze's breathing grew shallow. They searched for days. Only his slippers were found at the riverbank. No body, no blood, nothing. The frogs inside Adaeze stirred violently. Mama Urengwa, the village elder, was called. She listened silently, then nodded gravely. The spirits have waited long, she said. The bloodline has returned to the stream. Adaeze shook her head weakly. Are you saying this curse is because of him? Mama leaned closer. The spirits do not forget those who trespass. When one is taken, they watch the family. When another enters the stream's call, they answer. Adaeze sobbed. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. After a while, Adaeze was barely conscious. Her body lay weak on the raffia mat, sweat soaking her clothes. Every breath felt heavy, as though something cold sat on her chest. The frogs inside her stirred restlessly, croaking low and deep, echoing in her stomach. Adaeze whimpered. Her mother knelt beside her, wiping her face gently with a damp cloth. Tears streaked her cheeks, but her voice remained steady. My daughter, she said softly, we can no longer delay. Adaeze forced her eyes open. Delay what? Her mother swallowed hard. We must go to the stream. The words hit Adaeze like thunder. No, she croaked, shaking her head weakly. Mama, no, I can't go back there. I saw something terrible. Her hands trembled as memories flooded her. The coughing sound, the wet skin, the glowing eyes watching her from the darkness. I will die if I return, she whispered. Her mother cupped Adaeze's hands firmly. Listen to me, she said, her voice breaking. Running from the spirits will not free you. Only facing them will. Adaeze's breathing quickened. I am afraid, she sobbed. What if the creature comes again? What if it takes me like it took... She couldn't finish the sentence. That is why the elders will come with us, she said. And Mama Orenwa will lead the rite. You will not be alone. Adaeze shook violently. I don't want to see that place again. Her mother's eyes filled with tears. My daughter, the spirits are already inside you. Every frog you cough is their voice. They are not done with you. Another sharp cough seized Adaeze as she bent forward as a small frog slipped onto the mat, croaking weakly. Her mother closed her eyes briefly. Pain etched across her face. The spirits must be appeased, she said quietly. That is the only way you will be free. Adaeze stared at the frog, then back at her mother. You promise they won't kill me? Her mother pressed her forehead against Adaeze's. I promise, she whispered, but only if you go willingly. Outside, the night wind rustled the trees. Somewhere far away, near the stream, a frog coughed. And Adaeze knew there was no escaping what awaited her. That night, despite her weakness, Adaeze was carried back to the stream by the elders. The moon was full. The water was restless. As Adaeze coughed, the frogs spilled out, not onto the ground, but back into the stream, one by one. Then the water parted, and a figure rose. Not a monster, a young man. Her breath caught. He looked exactly like her father, only younger. Chukudi, her mother whispered in extreme shock. Adaeze's heart shattered. You are my brother, she cried. His eyes were glowing faintly green. I never left, he said softly. The stream claimed me, but I was not allowed to cross over. Tears streamed down Adaeze's face. Why me? She asked him. Because you listened, Chukudi replied. Because you came back alive. He turned to the elders. Tell the village the truth. The stream is not a place of fear. It is a place of remembrance. Forgetting is what angers the spirits. The water began to pull him back. Every frog you coughed was a message, he said. A reminder of those who were lost and never mourned properly. Wait, Adaeze cried. Chukudi smiled sadly. Live and remember us. With that, he dissolved into the water. The coughing stopped. Adaeze recovered slowly. The coughing stopped. The pain faded. No more frogs slipped from her lips in the dead of night. Her body healed, but the village did not forget. When Adaeze finally stepped outside after weeks indoors, conversations paused. Mothers pulled their children closer. Some elders nodded at her with solemn eyes, while others whispered behind their wrappers. That is her, someone murmured. The girl who returned from the spirits. Adaeze felt the weight of their stares like stones on her skin. Shame and sorrow followed her everywhere she went. She kept her head low, her steps quick. Only Ini stood by her. Ini walked beside her through the village paths, talking endlessly about small things, about school, about the mango tree behind her house, about anything that could make Adaeze forget the eyes watching her. You are still Adaeze, Ini told her one afternoon, squeezing her hand. What happened does not define you. Slowly, Adaeze began to believe it. One evening, as the sky turned orange, Adaeze sat beside her mother. Mama, she said softly, tell me more about my brother. Her mother's hands stilled. After a long silence, she spoke. Chukudi was brave, she said. Too brave sometimes. He loved the stream. He said it spoke to him. Tears slipped down her cheeks. When he went there that Tuesday night, he never returned. Adaeze closed her eyes, grief tightening her chest. He tried to warn you, her mother continued quietly. That was why the spirits were angry. His story had already been told, but you laughed at it. Adaeze nodded, tears falling freely now. I hear him sometimes, she whispered, in my dreams. After that, Adaeze began to visit the stream only during the day. She would sit by the water's edge, speaking softly, as though someone listened beneath the surface. I'm sorry, she would say. I didn't know. Sometimes she laughed gently. Ini is well. Mama misses you. The water always rippled in response. Every Tuesday night, a lantern was placed by the stream in memory of Chukudi and others who never returned. Its soft glow reflected on the water, a quiet reminder. And Adaeze, she never mocked traditions again. Sometimes at night, she dreamed of frogs, not coughing, not angry, but singing. And in those dreams, she felt peace. What do you think about this story? Share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you for watching and supporting our page.